see if and we are live. About to do a live stream reaction to Andrew Tate's money-making interview he did on YouTube recently with a guy, I think by the name of Samuel Leeds. He went into a lot of stuff about money, finances, his journey, how much money he brought in, how he brought in money, a lot of different things. I'm going to wait for a second, let some people start coming in. But yeah, we're about to do this. Let's get this bad boy ready to go. All right. As some of you guys start strolling in, let's wait a second, and then we're going to get to this reaction. I'm going to pull up the chat. And I'm excited because, first of all, this is your first live stream with me. I always look at the chat and try to respond at different proper points. So if you guys want to say some things, ask me some questions, put something in the chat, feel free, because I'll be watching. I'm not like those other YouTubers. I know I hate when I watch YouTube live streams and you try to put something in the chat and either there's 80,000 people in there and you can't get heard, what you're saying isn't seen or responded to, or what you put in just gets flooded by the chat. I don't do that. I try to pay attention to what you guys say. We'll wait a little bit, not too long, because I know some of you guys are here. We already got 10 people in. That's awesome. I love doing these live streams. I did my first one a couple days ago. And yes, I'm doing this in the kitchen. Background right here. But as you guys can see on the screen, Andrew's looking at me because I'm interviewing him. No. Yeah, Andrew went into a lot of things. I saw pieces of this interview and talks about money a lot and money mindset and even the controversial ways that he's earned money. I think it's interesting, and I love when people talk about money because it's so rare for it to be talked about nowadays, in my opinion. Rampage God says, let's go. PRNTAE, Printe, says, yo, I don't know when I subscribed to you, but I'm going to watch. It could have been from Gideon. It could have been from Ryan Trahan videos. It could have been from Andrew Tate videos that got removed. I don't know. There's a lot of different ones I've had that have popped off. So yeah, first of all, can you guys hear me good? Yeah, let me know. I have my mic set up down here. Steven says, hey, good to see you doing the main man. Get your point off view. Word of Hustle says, yes, you can hear me good. Okay. And I'm going to start playing the video in a little bit. And let me know if my mic is too loud or quiet or in comparison to the stream. Because I don't have like a whole soundboard and stuff like a lot of these streamers do. I'm just starting streaming. So I think we got 10 people in here. Let's get going. So again, this is Andrew Tate's money-making interview. It's an hour and it's 2 hours. We'll see how long we go. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's go. The video has no sound. You guys can't hear the the video. No sound still. Okay. Right now? You guys still can't hear it? Let me. No, yeah, frame rate's dropping hard. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. I got this back. I'm gonna change yeah. I'm gonna change this. Alright, let's go back so you guys can hear that. Alright, let me know now. Ready?
Controversial influencer Andrew Tate has been banned from Facebook and Instagram.
They can't cancel me. They've tried, but they can't. They've failed to stop me. They've emptied their clip, and I'm still alive. Bullets have bounced off.
Most people that make a lot of money hide away. You don't hide away.
I've had a hard life. Even my day-to-day reality would be too stressful for 99.9% of people on the planet. How many people out there have such ridiculous sums of money? None of these people are getting these things by following the path the system is trying to make me follow. Most people who follow the path work, consume, die. What do you want? I was the most Googled man on the planet. More than Donald Trump, more than Joe Biden, more than Putin at the start of the war. I was that Googled. No matter what they do or what law they make, there's gonna be people who work harder than you. So if you're gonna be a lazy dummy watching Love Island and not try and think and use your brain, guess what? You're gonna stay fucking broke.
Do you think that your attitude towards women,
Boom in her face,
is a little bit insulting towards women?
you grip her up by the neck.
Andrew Tate, thanks so much for your time.
Glad to be here, bro.
Appreciate it, man. What's life? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, I see the frame rate still. Well, let's see if I can get this fixed real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna drop this down. I got the sound back. Thanks for you guys' patience. I'm not used to doing this, so let's see.
5 flights a week, you know, just trying to stay above water and fight the matrix. I'm enjoying this new episode. It's been quite an interesting battle with the whole mass cancellation thing and moving over to other platforms and that kind of thing. And I've been massively successful on those.
It's still it's still weird. So I had it fine last time. So just give me a sec. I don't know how these streamers do it. Let me check my settings. Settings. $98. Okay, I got output. Oh, you know what? I think I know what I need to change. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see if Daddy Sean's got this all figured out now. Alright, I got it at 60. Bangladesh Nafiz. Damn, that's a long ways away. What's up? Yeah, hi Sean. Alright guys, I'm just fixing something real quick with the stream. So sorry, I'm not a pro at this yet. Okay, let's see. But if you guys want to watch the video totally on your own, the link is down below. If you want to watch it with me, you can watch it with this, and I'm going to give my insights and some stuff that I know about Andrew as well as he brings certain things up. Okay. We're going to try this right now. See if I got it back to a decent... I changed my camera frame rate, but... Okay, let's see how this goes.
Your attitude towards women,
Boom in her face,
is a little bit insulting towards women.
you grip her up by the neck.
Andrew Tate, thanks so much for your time.
Glad to be here, bro.
Appreciate it, man. What's life? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, the frame
5
rate looks
flights
so
a week,
weird.
you know, just trying to stay above water and fight the matrix. I'm
Wow,
enjoying.
Nafis, you've watched me since I had 4K subs.
I'm enjoying
That's like
this
back
new
when
episode.
Gideon promoted
It's been
me.
quite an
Damn.
interesting battle with the whole mass cancellation thing
Thank
and
you.
moving over to other platforms and that kind of thing. And I've been massively successful on those. So I'm just focusing on that for now.
And it's interesting because you've clearly made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And most people that make a lot of money hide away.
Of course.
They make a load of money, they hide away. You don't hide away.
No, I do the absolute opposite.
Yeah, and as a result of that, you know, you've had a lot of backlash and the media have had a lot to say about you. But what's the reason? What is it that drives you to keep...
Is it still really lagging on your guys' end? Yeah, it's lagging on mine. So what we're going to do is this. We're just going to do this. You guys can still... Let's see how...
doing all these videos and putting out this content because you don't have to?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. And the reason people hide is because obviously there's a safety element that comes with having mass wealth and people know, you have all these nice things.
That actually
and where
works
you
right
are
there.
And differing opinions. And
When you go full camera, it's not laggy. It's like smooth when you're sharing your screen. Okay, but I think now that I have this set up like this, it's actually better. So just give me a second, and I know what I'm gonna do right now. Whoa! Yeah, we're just gonna zoom this guy in. Sorry guys, you have to watch me do this crap. I'll get better at this as I go, but it is what it is. So now, when I go back to this, I have this pretty zoomed in. Okay, so all I gotta do is make this a little bigger, and then we're good. Because I think it plays fine right here, right?
and there's certainly a disadvantage to
Wait
it.
for a second.
But I feel like I'm in a unique position. I'm in a position
like
where
that
I can tell
plays
the
pretty
truth on a lot of
smooth, right?
subjects that I don't think a lot of people can. The reason I became so widely known in the world, I don't think it was a magic spell. I think I was saying things that people understood and agreed with. Obviously, the percentage of the population.
Let me know. Now I'm just gonna like zoom this in way more. It's smooth. Okay, sweet. All right. Thank you guys. Sorry for the problem. Now we're just gonna center this bad boy. Sorry you guys have to see this fucking retarded shit. Okay, I'm looking at my screen real quick. That's what it's like when you're a streamer. You're setting up OBS. I'm trying to center this. And I don't have two screens. I just have my laptop because I'm traveling right now. So, okay, so I just got to go a little higher, and then it'll be good. Let me see how this looks. Yeah. We're watching the top G speak. Show respect. All right. I'm checking on my phone because that's the only way I can see like how my screen looks. All right, this looks pretty good. If you guys are cool with this, we're just gonna go. And yeah, there's gonna be a little text on the screen, but we're just gonna get to it, and I think that looks fine. Yeah, top G. All right, here we go. Now we can hear what the fuck is going on. Let's get into it.
Appreciate it, man. What's life? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm here, there, and everywhere. 5 flights a week, just trying to stay above water and fight the
flights
matrix.
a week.
I'm enjoying this new episode. It's been quite an interesting battle with the whole mass cancellation thing and moving over to other platforms and that kind of thing. And I've been massively successful on those. So I'm just focusing on that for now.
And it's interesting because you've clearly made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And most people that make a lot of money hide away.
Of course.
They make a load of money, they hide away. You don't hide away.
No, I do the absolute opposite.
Yeah, and as a result of that, you've had a lot of backlash and the media have had a lot to say about you. But what's the reason? What is it that drives you to keep doing all these videos and putting out this content because you don't have to?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. And the reason people hide is because obviously there's a safety element that comes with having mass wealth and people know, you have all these nice things and where you are and differing opinions. And there's certainly a disadvantage to it. But I feel like I'm in a unique position. I'm in a position where I can tell the truth on
Let me know how the sound is, guys. If you need it louder or quieter, just let me know.
a lot of subjects that I don't think a lot of people can. The reason I became so widely known in the world, I don't think it was a magic spell. I think I was saying things that people understood and agreed with. Obviously, there was a percentage of the population that disagreed, but a whole huge contingent of the population agreed with me.
Yes.
And I'm in a fortunate situation where I can't really lose my job. I can't be canceled. They've tried that, and here I am. I'm still all over every single social media platform. So I think I have a duty to God to some degree to tell the truth. And I also believe that my children's children will look back at this period in history and they will be unhappy that not enough people stood up and told the exact truth, that too many people sat there and said, okay, well, I know this subject is bullshit. I'm scared for my job. I'm scared of the HR department. I'm scared of getting canceled. I'm scared of the social media companies. I'm scared of whatever. So I'm just going to sit and be quiet. And if you look throughout history, there's huge proportions of the population who were good people who decided to be quiet because they were afraid, and terrible things happened. So I think that I have a duty to God to run my mouth. So here I am.
What do you think your main message is? What's the main thing that you want to get across to the world?
My main message is to resist the slave mind. I say this all the time. To understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you wouldn't be told it otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief you have and try and identify
Messages. What's the...
I think that...
Okay, yeah, you can ask a question whenever, guys. I'm going to answer them as we go along. I'll stop at the right points, but like right here, Samuel's about to ask a question. This interview is from Samuel Leeds' YouTube channel. The link is in the description if you guys want to see that. But yeah, let's see what he asks right here. If you ever have anything you want to say, just feel free to drop it down below. I will respond at an appropriate time. Yes.
I have a duty to God to run my mouth. So here I am.
What do you think your main message is? What's the main thing that you want to get across to the world?
My main message is to resist the slave mind. I say this all the time. To understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you wouldn't be told it otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief you have and try and identify where it comes from and why you have it. I sit and argue with people, I discuss things with people, and they so fervently believe a point. And I say, why do you believe that so much? Like, do you have personal experience? No, but I saw the news. Why do you believe? The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. A lot of people are completely empty vessels, ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules.
Yeah.
It's the game.
Yeah.
So telling people to resist a slave mind and just be critical thinkers, keep their brain open, pay attention to things, be perspicacious. That's the general theme. And it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, liberal, man, woman, etc. It's just think for yourself. That's the general message.
Talk to me about the Matrix. When you say the Matrix are out to get you and all this stuff, who is the Matrix?
Have you seen the movie The Matrix?
I actually haven't.
You've never seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, you gotta watch
Samuel,
it.
come on.
I imagine it's kind of like the Truman Show or...
Kinda. So basically in The Matrix, there's an...
First of all, as an interviewer, you are going to ask one of the questions, what is the Matrix, to Andrew Tate, because you know it's something he talks about all the time. And you don't do research enough to watch the Matrix movies, or at least one. That is not a good job. I have interviewed people for YouTube, for fun, and always got to do some research so you're prepared. That is terrible. He gets the privilege to interview Andrew Tate, one of the rarest, most viewed interviewees on the planet, and you don't even do that research, Samuel? Come on, man.
You gotta watch it.
I imagine it's kind of like the Matrix are out to get you and all this stuff. Who is the Matrix?
Have you seen the movie The Matrix?
I actually haven't.
You've never seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, you gotta watch it.
I imagine it's kind of like the Truman Show or...
Kinda. So basically in The Matrix, there's an artificial reality, a computer-generated reality, and people are being harvested for their body heat in a real world, and their minds are being used, their minds are being occupied by this computer-generated reality. And the basic premise of the show is that their body is being used for what is important, and they just distract their minds so that their body can stay alive long enough to give the machines what they want. And I really, truly believe that's a perfect analogy for the world today. We live in a world where people are being extracted for their value, their physical value, whether you're digging holes or carrying garbage or whatever. And your mind is constantly distracted by garbage. It's distracted by TV shows and concerts and Clown world. I call it clown world because it's a never-ending circus. All this garbage they distract you with. First it's COVID, and then Putin cures COVID the day he invades, and COVID's cured. And it's all just a big scam from head to toe. And the reason I call it the Matrix is because a false reality is being projected onto humanity, and they do that by controlling narratives. If they allowed people to have critical and open conversations about, let's say, COVID, at the height of the pandemic, it never would have lasted 3 years. But the reason, because they censor and delete one entire side of the argument, then you're only left with their version of reality, and they're projecting a reality. And they do that with nearly every subject. There are so many subjects you can't have an open discussion on. And if they only control, if they delete all of one side and only keep one side there, then that's a false paradigm, it's a false reality, and that's what they're doing. And they're convincing people to act in certain ways and do certain things which are not necessarily in their best interest or necessarily true.
Because what I find is that the people that want to debate important and Yahya says, did Andrew become Muslim? I don't know. I've seen some things about that. I thought that was the case, but I'm not specifically sure, and I can't say definitively. But he's talking about how they want to shut down one side of an argument. The people I find that love to debate controversial topics like that the most are the ones who can't stand when another point of view is brought up. Like the people that want to actively bring things up like that to debate them. Once the debate starts, they get so pissed off, in my experience, if you say something different about coronavirus or you say something different about who got elected. But the people that don't antagonize arguments like that, I find, are actually more logical to listen to and talk to.
We live in a world where I don't think the average person realizes how much they are lied to. From the way money works is a lie, financial system is a lie, judicial system is a lie, medical health care is a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a scam. Just go to work, pay your taxes. And that's why I call it the Matrix.
So what would you say the average person that's maybe, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm being controlled, maybe this isn't true, maybe that there's an agenda behind the mainstream media and the news and the government?
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, there is. I mean, this is the thing.
Bro.
You made a good point, because sometimes people say to me, well, maybe there is an agenda. What do you mean maybe? How can there maybe be an agenda behind the mainstream news? You're in charge of the world, you own the news. Are you going to tell the truth? If you had a bunch of slaves and a bunch of suckers working their asses off for pennies, are you going to tell them the truth? Would you?
I mean, I can't possibly imagine that situation.
Why the fuck would you tell them the truth? The truth? How does the truth benefit?
So what's their benefit then? They own everything. They own the newspapers, the media. What is the agenda of the Matrix?
The agenda is just narrative control.
Right.
The agenda is narrative control, and as long as they control a narrative, they can control the populace to do whatever they need them to do. It doesn't matter if they convince you to be afraid of the common cold and stay in your house and destroy your own business and not see your own fucking grandmother.
That's exactly what they did with that.
It doesn't matter if they convince you that the planet's setting on fire and global warming is real, and now for some reason if they tax you, it'll fix it. It doesn't matter what it is. They create a narrative. They prevent people from talking the counter to that narrative. They now own reality. You change all the Google search results. Everything online says a certain thing must be true.
Yes.
And then you weaponize it for your own benefit, whether it's higher tax rates or more control over or movement or giving people's freedoms away, etc. The world used to be based on freedom, especially in the Western world. During communism, etc., the Western world used to stand up and say, the difference between us and the communists is that we're free. You live in this country, it's a free country. It's a free country. But that's not the truth anymore. So,
And Andrew lives in Romania. And I've been traveling Europe the past 2 months and have been in Eastern Europe, near Romania, and seeing countries that used to be under communist rule and that are not now under communist rule. And it's amazing, the more people I have met in Eastern Europe, how much more they think freely than a lot of the American people I know. American people back home are fed so much BS through the media about certain things, politics, the COVID thing, even like a lot of people back home don't think that the media has an agenda and a reason behind why they tell you what they tell you. They just think, oh, they're telling you the truth. They're telling you the truth. Not everyone, but a lot of people, especially young people. But Eastern Europe, they just seem so much more aware of the willingness and ability of corrupt governments to function. Whereas in America, they're just like, da-dee-da-dee-da. So many young people. But I met so many young people in Eastern Europe that no real shit goes down behind the scenes. And it's funny because they know because they used to be under such communist rule. Just like, and that's near where Andrew lives now, Romania.
You live in this country, it's a free country. It's a free country. But that's not the truth anymore. So now that everyone's starting to slowly understand it's not a free country, you have to replace the freedom with something else. And the only thing that humanity will accept in return for freedom is safety. So they say, listen, you're no longer free. You can no longer say what you want to say or go where you want to go or do what you want to do. You can't go outside for this 3 years. You can't do that. You can't drive that car because of fucking the polar ice caps, whatever it is. But don't worry, it's for your safety. We're going to keep you safe. And that's what it is. It's all a big fucking scam. It's a lie. The people in charge of the world don't give a shit about our safety. If something bad happened to you, heaven forbid, let's say me. Let's say I got a terrible disease. Let's say I got cancer and I went to the NHS. I'd be waiting fucking months to get anything done. But then they want to text me 4 times a day, begging me to take an injection. And that's for my own good. It's a scam. It's a fucking scam. Head to toe, all of it's a scam. It's a lie.
One of the first videos I saw of yours was about...
That is true. Did you guys notice how much everyone was a proponent and promoter of everyone getting the shot? I mean, it was just like nonstop. I saw it everywhere online. It wasn't even like a freedom of choice thing anymore. It was just like, this is what everybody needs to do. And that really raised a lot of questions in my mind. What about you guys? When you saw how much it was promoted by various outlets and people. I'd never seen that with anything else.
At university.
All of it's a scam. It's a lie.
One of the first videos I saw of yours was about university.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting to me.
Another scam.
Well, interesting, yeah. I mean, I wasn't very good at school, and when I was at school, they kind of... I feel like at school, certainly my experience is they push you down one of 2 directions. It's either go on to be academic, go to university, or, if you're a bit of a dum-dum, then learn a trade, go to college, learn to be a builder. And for me, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to go down the second route. Yeah. And, you know, when I was 16 and I was doing a bit of Googling, I came across some, you know, interesting books like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it was just crazy to me because I'm 16 and I'm thinking there's this whole other world about investments and business and entrepreneurship, which is completely not taught at school.
Completely, because that's not, and it's interesting you say that because I have this saying and nobody seems to understand it. I say money's not real. And people say, what do you mean money's not real? Money's not real. It's not real. Money's not real. It's numbers on the screen. It's not a real thing. And once you start putting systems in place that generate huge sums of money, and once you get to the point where money basically has no value, like I do, I can go buy a Ferrari today and my bank balance will look basically the same. It doesn't change anything. So money isn't real. It's just numbers. It's all fucking invented. It's printed from the sky. It's garbage. You just have to find a way to make people understand your value. And yeah, it can just appear from absolutely nowhere. And I went...
Yeah, because that's what I have always wondered. Like, how is there such an infinite source, it seems like, of money? There's not like this finite source where only a little bit to go around. Especially as I've been traveling, I have been seeing so much money in so many different countries that it's like there can't just be a finite source. So like, where does it come from? That's really confusing to me. When you just see how much wealth is out in the world, I mean, you go and travel and see how many people are out there. Because it is just like numbers, you know, you get sent a number, you receive a number. It's not really like cash or nothing. Yeah, this will be interesting.
Money isn't real. It's just numbers. It's all fucking invented. It's printed from the sky. It's garbage. You just have to find a way to make people understand your value. And yeah, it can just appear from absolutely nowhere. And I went from completely broke to hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know what you're saying in regards to this other world, because there is a subsect to humanity. It's kind of strange. When I was broke, when I was on a council estate in Luton, I thought everyone was poor. And now that I have money, it kind of feels like everyone's rich. I go to buy a plane and they're like, no, sold out. I thought you fucking sold out of planes? I go to buy a Bugatti and they're like, sold out. I'm like, all the shit.
Who are these people?
Yeah, everyone's bought everything. Like, and it's crazy how many people out there have such ridiculous sums of money.
Yes.
Truly ridiculous sums of money. There are so many rich people in the world, and it's kind of like your reality is based on it's the Matrix, right? If you're broke, everyone's broke. If you're rich, everyone's rich. And a lot of people have this separation. I was lucky to live in both worlds, but a lot of people have this separation. Yeah. So.
And most people in that rich world are quiet about it.
Yeah.
Maybe because, have you noticed as well with the media, in every movie, the jerk is always a rich guy. You know, Titanic, Jack's poor, but the narrative, I don't know if it's the same, you grew up in America, right?
Well, but you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself from, obviously, crime. You have to protect yourself from governments. You have to protect yourself from backlash. A lot of people do not see the risk reward of being so loud and so vocal.
Yeah.
I do in my particular circumstance. But yeah, it'd be easier to be quiet about certain things.
The only thing more annoying to British public about someone being rich is them being rich and vocal about it.
And that's and I understand why, but I mean, I've built absolutely all of it myself. I started, like I said, from a council estate in Luton. I did all of it myself. And it's interesting you said about discovering that other world, because I always knew the same thing. When I was going to college, you're talking about the two routes. There was A-levels and B-Tech. They used to call it, yeah?
College or...
Yeah, college, B-Tech, like the trades, or there was A-level to go to university. So I did a separate path to you. I was going to the A-levels to go university. And I was walking to college with a couple of my friends, and a Ferrari drove past. And I said, bro, you see that? And he goes, yeah, what about it? I said, doesn't that piss you off? I must have been about 16. He goes, why? So this dude has 400 G's for a car, 400 grand. I'm walking 4 miles to college because my mom hasn't got any car. He has 400 grand. Do you think he works a job? Do you think he's fucking behind a counter somewhere? He knows something about the world that I don't know.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he's rich. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't say he wasn't rich, dummy. I'm saying he knows something about the world I don't know. And I was intrigued, and it angered me. I couldn't sleep for weeks. I was pissed off. Every time I saw somebody with genuine money, I understood that everything I was being told and taught and they were trying to make me believe just simply wasn't true. I was like, this is bullshit. None of these people are getting these things by following the path that the system is trying to make me follow. Yeah. Nobody, and everybody intrinsically knows this.
Okay, hold on. Computer's like doing a little wonky wonk. 1 second. See if I got this fixed. Second. I don't know what happened. Okay. It was just like frozen for a second. Should be back. Just change that. Again, sorry guys, I am new to this streaming thing. Sometimes it's a little weird on me, so okay, here we go. I think this should be good. Let me back it up. Now I'm just checking on the stream, making sure it's coming through. Anjik Tatik. I was in Serbia, Alexa. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, I was in Serbia when I first got to Europe. That's probably how you found me. I'm guessing is through some of my videos about Serbia. All right, here we go. We're back.
Miles to college because my mom hasn't got any car. He has 400 grand. Do you think he works a job? Do you think he's fucking behind a counter somewhere? He knows something about the world that I don't know.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he's rich. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't say he wasn't rich, dummy. I'm saying he knows something about the world I don't know. And
Miss PhD says, yes, Andrew converted to Islam in Dubai. That was like a recent trip.
I was intrigued, and it angered me. I couldn't sleep for weeks. I was pissed off. Every time I saw somebody with genuine money, I understood that everything I was being told and taught and they were trying to make me believe just simply wasn't true. I was like, this is bullshit. None of these people are getting these things by following the path that the system is trying to make me follow. Yeah. Nobody, and everybody intrinsically knows this. If you go to if you're at a BP, you're at a petrol station, and I pull up in my Lamborghini, nobody goes, wow, he went to school. Yeah. He studied hard.
Right.
Do they fuck? They're like drug dealer, gangster. And they do that because they know that the easiest way to amass wealth is to break the rules, because the rules are not designed to allow most people to make money. You can make money within the rules, of course you can. But most people don't. Most people who follow the path work, consume, die. That's it.
Yeah.
So I always knew the same thing as you, and I knew there had to be another way. I knew that just working for money was a paradigm that wasn't true. And then you understand making your money work for you, and you understand delinking your time from money. Yeah. You start learning to understand these things, but eventually you build a system and you build an ecosystem like me. I have 60 or 70 people work for me all around the world. and things just happen and money just kind of appears as long as everything's well organized.
Do you think that it's kind of becoming more well-known, though, entrepreneurship and how to get into business now than it was, say, 10, 20 years ago?
It's certainly easier to make money now than ever before.
I think so.
Oh, it's easier than ever before to make money. I meet so many fucking 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, kids with an e-com store or some crypto garbage to make quick, fast money now is almost easier than it's ever been. Now, that has advantages and disadvantages. I was talking to a young guy the other day, and he was 22, I think, and he caught a crypto pump. He made like $4 million in the last bull run, and now all the coins have gone down, whatever. He sold some. He has like $1.5 million. He's like, oh yeah, so I'm waiting for the next pump. I was like, bro, the problem with you is you've now been ruined for life because you're 22, you made easy money, and you think that you don't have to ever do any serious work. You also have no skill. Problem is with the crypto pump, it doesn't teach you anything. He didn't learn sales, marketing, staff management, stress tolerance.
You need that.
Nothing. He doesn't know how to do anything. So he's just sitting there just gambling on shit coins, waiting for the next one to pump. And he's 22, and his ass is never going to want to get a real job, and he doesn't have any skills. So I think he's in a lot of trouble, truthfully. And I made this clear to him. So it can be a detrimental thing. It can be a bad thing. But in terms of making money, it's certainly easier than it's ever been because we live in a global marketplace now. You can reach the world, and all you have to do is have a message worth making people listen to. The hard part about making money today is that we live in an attention economy. You have to garner attention from people. It's difficult, right? Because anyone can start a YouTube channel, but it's getting the views that is hard, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be talented enough and skillful enough to garner attention. But if you can garner attention, then you can make money. I think that's the new modern way to view the world. It's an attention economy. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're getting attention, you'll make money from it. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening en masse.
Interesting as well, because when I first started getting interested in investments and stuff, I'd start going on courses, getting mentors. Because if you want to be good at anything, you need a coach. Yep. If you want to be, you're a world champion kickboxer. Yeah. I'm sure it would have been impossible if you hadn't have paid for a coach.
Absolutely.
Right. And all my friends at the time were saying to me, oh, that's so risky. Yeah. What are you doing? And I'm thinking, you're going to uni to study drama. Yeah. For 4 years, and I'm learning about property and investments, and you think what I'm doing is risky.
Yeah, investing in yourself, especially learning from somebody who is already doing what you want to do, is not risky. And you're right. The people who believe that's risky are just stuck deep inside the matrix, because you're right, they're going to pay 60, 70,000 pounds for a degree from university, which is one, completely useless. And secondly, it's always kind of been amazing to me. You talked about kickboxing. If I want to go learn kickboxing, I expect my coach to be able to fight. If I want to go learn piano, I want to see my piano teacher play piano. Yeah. But people will go to university and learn business from a dude who's never had a business, who's broke. It's just like, it's clown world, it's stupid. Yeah. Like, education's becoming decentralized.
That is so true about school, because when I was 23, I'm 27 now, and I was working like random jobs, but then I started to get into working, doing social media work and videography work. I would meet other people in the restaurants I was working at while I was building up the social media thing that were taking social media classes at school, at a college. And I would say, like, okay, because I was learning a lot and I was starting to get connections and doing better, to the point that my first client gained like 125,000 Instagram followers in 4 months. That was without ads, anything. In 2018, that was a big deal. But I would ask my fellow workers who were going to school and studying marketing and shit in college. They would tell me all the shit they were learning, and I was like, has your professor ever had a social media client? Ever had a marketing client? Oh, no, they just went to school, they studied marketing, and then had a little job, and then came back to teach. And I was like, okay. So they basically were in school the whole time. Did they get any real experience in the field which they're teaching you? No, not really. It's wild, and that's exactly what Samuel and Andrew are talking about right here. Alpha Christian says, this man will change the history of mankind, whether he's toxic or not. I believe he's changed a lot of people's lives already. I don't know about the history of mankind. That's pretty grandiose statement. People many times overplay how big the world is. But, I mean, he's reaching people all over the world right now and with a message. So I've been traveling Europe, and people in every country know who this man is. That's wild. Bogdan Play says, hey, I'm from Serbia. Yes, Andrew, Kai Clips, Matsu. I'm from Slovenia. That's one place I haven't been yet. Been to places near there, but haven't been there yet. I'm in Italy right now. Kai Clips says Andrew Muslim. We have apparently been told that is the case, but I cannot confirm it yet. Let's get back to the video.
Our world is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, education's becoming decentralized, which is actually one of my products, so I'm going to talk about it. But education is becoming decentralized now with the internet, and the smartest thing you can do is look at somebody's life and go, this guy is living or he's doing exactly what I want to do. I'll learn from him. Mm-hmm. That is the smartest thing you can do, as opposed to just going to these traditional educational systems. Because the reason university is such a massive scam, and I said this a million times, is because it exists in an echo chamber. It doesn't exist in fair competition. The reason universities still manage to function is because they'll give children loans to go to these schools, but you're not allowed to use the loan for anything else. If I were to say to the average 18-year-old, here's 50 grand. You can either start your own business, you can buy a crypto, you can buy mentorship from you, me, another millionaire online, you can fix your house up or your parents' house up, you can buy a nice car, or you can go get a degree. And you were to give them the 50 G's. How many people do you think would choose a degree?
None.
Nobody. Zero.
Nobody.
So they link the loan to the degree. So the choices are either don't get the loan at all, or get the loan and go to school.
Yeah.
Which means that the universities don't exist in fair competition. There's no fair competition within the entire educational system.
Right.
As soon as there's fair competition, nobody would choose it because it's such a terrible choice.
Yeah.
It suffers from double inflation. It gets more expensive every year, and more degrees exist every year.
But yet, when you talk to people, like I did at senior year of my high school, my last year of high school, they are adamant that you need to go to school. And when you say you are not going because you don't see the value in it, like I did, you get shitted on. People are just so convinced that school and college is the motherfucking way to go. No questions asked. But without reason.
Terrible choice.
Yeah.
It suffers from double inflation. It gets more expensive every year, and more degrees exist every year. So the value goes down, the price goes up, year on year on year on year. It's a total waste of time.
Yeah.
But children are bored, and they think, well, I don't get the money any other way, so I may as well take it. And that's why the whole educational system's a scam.
And the social
I actually have my
life,
own university.
which is actually valuable too.
I'm relaunching it. I'm changing the name, and that's going to be relaunching very shortly. But I have a university that teaches 18 modern wealth creation methods, and it's purely online. And we teach a different way to make money than perhaps the traditional system. And it's cheap. It's like $50, $60 a month. For me to get 100,000 students like I have now at $60 a month is not impressive. What's impressive is that I keep them. I'm giving more value than the $60 a month. They can go and spend that $60 in Nando's or buy some coffee or do anything else they want with it. But they choose to go to my school because I'm existing in a fair, competitive environment, and I'm outperforming. A university can't do that. All these other universities can't do it because they're all a fucking scam.
Yeah, they're probably comparing it to university where you're literally paying 30 grand to learn from someone who's being paid 30 grand to get 30 grand.
It's all a scam, yeah. Whereas what we're doing is actually, teaching people. We have massive success stories. Obviously, we have a lot of people who are making a lot of money. We have all the reviews, everything on the website, cobratate.com. But the fact that people have a choice, they don't have to invest in my university. They can take that money and spend it on anything else on the planet, and they still see my university as worthwhile.
Yeah.
That's how I know it's a competitive product.
Surely you think there's a place for university there?
If you want to be an architect and you have to study architecture, if you want to be a lawyer and you have to study law, that's fine. If you decide I personally never knew what job I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. These people seem to be passionate about a particular trade. I just wanted to have a lot of money. If you just say, look, I'll pay you $1 million to dig a hole, I would have dug a hole.
I apologize in advance for how the audio levels change. They go up and down. And that's not me. That's just whoever edited the video or was monitoring the audio during, because I saw a few clips of it and it goes like this. So I don't know what the deal is. Somebody needs to learn how to manage audio for Samuel on his YouTube channel. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's not me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $1 million to fly a plane, give it a choice.
Yeah, but if someone wants to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, go to
university and do it.
Yeah, but know what you're doing it for. Don't go and study drama and end up a dramatic McDonald's worker 5 years later.
Yeah, or don't study something generic like business or something generic. And even though business is obviously a good thing to know, but it's generic and it's hard to apply. I mean, in my experience, like imagine if I didn't have all this money and I had to go get a job again, I'd get a sales job because I've always been a salesman. And I think that's a very important life skill to have, to be good at sales and to deal with the stress
how the
and have a
volume just
commission
went down?
environment. I think these things are good. But they don't even, I don't know if they even teach sales.
Samuel's is still
Do they have
too
any
loud.
serious sales
I'll
courses?
hardly monitor audio yet.
Yeah, it's all garbage. They don't teach anything important. They just teach anything. They teach things that are going to keep you inside the slave mind. And they want you to go to school and then go to college and then go to university and get in debt. And you have to be in debt so that now you have to work. And you're working and you're in debt. And then they want you to take on more debt if possible in the form of a mortgage, which a lot of people do, which we can talk about because I know you're the property guy.
Massive, yeah.
And then you're in debt now. And once you're in debt, you can't really quit your job and it's very difficult for you to leave the country. And now they can hold things over you. That's the goal. It's all about control mechanisms, and the system is very well designed to make sure that people are conditioned to obey. It's very hard for the average person to say no to anything. Unless you have millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's very difficult to even have an opinion on subjects.
And it's wild when you decide to do something non-traditional, like, I don't need to get a house. Nah, I don't need to get like a real job. Nah, I don't need to go to school. Nah, I'm going to get a way cheaper car so I don't have this big car payment, even though I can't show off my car to everybody. Instead, I'm going to use the money to just live with a lower budget. Maybe go travel. Maybe go try some venture or business thing that you enjoy. Or just follow some passion with more money that you have and give you more freedom to pursue that passion more. Get some simple jobs so you can just earn enough and then spend all your time on your passion outside of that. When you do these non-traditional paths, it's amazing how many people look at you like you got four eyes. And they just can't understand because, like, well, why don't you want to go? Why don't you want to go to college? Well, what are you going to do when you pay for this? And I've dealt it with young people my age. I can't imagine people older. It's amazing how some people are not willing to think about different paths.
I have friends with normal jobs, and they say to me in private, yeah, man, bro, I wish I could talk at work. They can't say anything. HR will wreck them. You're not allowed an opinion. You're not allowed to talk. It's just work, consume, die, shut up, believe what you're told. That's how it is. It's clown world. It's the slavery.
I think when it comes to the finances and what I've heard you say about money, I think you're pretty bang on.
Yeah.
I know you've been recently cancelled. Well, you cancelled. You're still everywhere on social media.
They can't cancel me.
You're still everywhere on social media.
They've tried, but they can't.
What do you think the reason was? I mean, I've seen some of the things that you've said that are controversial.
That's not why they canceled me. They attempted to cancel me because I became the most Googled man on the planet. And I had mass influence over the youth, especially males, 18 to 23, 24-year-old males.
Yeah.
And those are the backbone of the slave force. And we always have been and always will be. It doesn't matter if you look at modern times or ancient times. If you had to build an aqueduct or a road or raise an army, you'd go and find the 18 to 22, 23-year-old fighting age males. We're the most important demographic on the planet. We're the strongest. We have the most energy. We're the most capable of doing the most difficult tasks. And they try very hard to police that demographic specifically. The reason that they talk all this garbage about toxic masculinity and the reason that they purport in every single movie that men are getting beaten up by chicks and every single family movie on Netflix, the woman's the smart one and the dad's a bumbling idiot and all these different things is they're trying to reduce the masculine tendency to rebel to a degree because they want this subsect of the population ready to either go die in a ditch or go work for fucking nothing. And what they don't want, the last thing they want is this subsect of the population to think because that's the subsect of a populace which causes a revolution. If millions of 18 to 25-year-old men stand in one place, that's a revolution. That's it. It's over. It's not the women marching. The women can march. That's fine.
All the women that like to do these feminist marches, they go on this Me Too march. I've seen it in D.C., Washington, D.C. in the States. If shit went down at a feminist march, shit is not going down in favor of all the women marching. If an army came in or a rebel group with some men, like those men are dominating. But yet they march with all this ferocity and ferociousness. We want this, we want this. If shit really went down, you don't want this.
That's a revolution. That's it. It's over. It's not the women marching. The women can march. That's fine. But when shit happens, men have to come along. And
Exactly.
At least have to protect them. Women can march and have an opinion. That's great. But the actual revolution is going to be men. Because eventually it's going to become violent. And they don't want large groups of men standing up and going, wait. 3 years you just took all our money, destroyed our businesses. Now the pound is falling. You're inflating us out of the market, the housing market. We don't stand a chance of ever having any kind of financial independence. You're destroying our energy sector to save Ukraine, money laundering. This is garbage. And if enough of them get in a big group in London, then something has to change. And they don't want anything to change. So they try and keep this population subdued. And I'm telling them to do the opposite. I'm telling them to think. And that's the last thing they want. So they decided, Andrew's telling the population, the subsect of the population that we're most fearful of, to think for themselves. So Andrew has to go. And they attempted to cancel me. They have failed. Now I have to make sure they don't try and suicide me. That's the next goal. Well, because what happens if you don't shut up eventually, that's what comes next. So for everyone watching at home, I would never kill myself. But yeah, it's an interesting...
That's true. Let's go back to that.
Suicide me. And they attempted to cancel me. They have failed. Now I have to make sure they don't try and suicide me. That's the next goal. Well, because what happens if you don't shut up eventually, that's what comes next. So for everyone watching at home, I would never kill myself. But yeah, it's an interesting times we're living in, that's for sure.
How did it make you feel when you got removed off of all social media platforms? I mean, were you upset about it? Were you?
Top G, bro. I've been around. I've had a hard life. I've had a difficult upbringing. I've had a very difficult situation.
It's doing a little laggy. All right, Oblivion Goddess. Oh, it's a woman. Says, no one wants to see this crap. Laugh my ass off. Well, apparently 24 people do, so that's not no one. And if you don't want to watch, you don't have to. But you saw it, you got irritated, and you came on this stream to try to talk crap because it bothered you to that degree that you couldn't ignore it. So, God bless.
How did you feel when you got removed off of all social media platforms? I mean, were you upset about it? Were you?
Top G, bro. I've been around. I've had a hard life.
Yeah.
I've had a hard life. I've had a difficult upbringing. I've had very difficult situations. Even my day-to-day reality would be too stressful for 99.9% of people on the planet. Losing Instagram accounts or not.
But you predicted it would happen as well.
I predicted. I've been talking about it for a long time. I said there's no way they're going to allow me to stay on these platforms. It's not in their best interest for me to stay on these platforms. It's not in their best interest for people who watch my products, watch my content and buy my products to sit there and go, I don't need anything else. This guy's telling the truth. I'm listening to him. I'm making more money than ever before. My life is better than it's ever been. Fuck school, fuck uni, fuck you, fuck the news, fuck you. I'm following Andrew. And that's why they want to try and get rid of me. It failed. I've moved over to Rumble now. I'm on rumble.com. And the stock price has blown up ever since I've moved over, and I've got 600,000 subs inside of 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So
that's big on Rumble.
Yeah, bro, it's massive on Rumble. Like, no one talked about Rumble, right? So they've failed to stop me. They've emptied their clip, and I'm still here. I'm still alive. The bullets have bounced off. But that's the real reason they canceled me. I don't know if you know the story of Socrates. Socrates had to poison himself. He was arrested, and he was accused of corrupting the youth. That's why. He was tried for making the young military-aged men of Greece think for themselves. That's not allowed. You're not allowed. Since the dawn of human time, you're not allowed to do that. And I'm committing the cardinal sin. I'm saying to men, listen, they're trying to tell you X, and that's garbage. The truth is Y. And that's why they decided to leave.
What do you think is going to happen over the next few years with the cost of living crisis, which is not just in the UK, it's pretty much all over the world.
Yeah.
People are literally, the average salary is about 25, 30 grand a year. Everything's going up apart from salaries. How do you see the next few years panning out?
I'm going to say this now, and I'm someone from a council estate. I don't have a clue how the average person is still surviving. I don't get it. Like 25, 30 grand a year in the current world is such a tiny amount of money. It's man, it's about to be worse than ever before. It's going to be
Do you guys agree with that? Because I've always said the same thing. Like, I don't understand how people survive. Ever since I was past 18, I've had great living situations with very low expenses. And have still had to work random jobs and like be very disciplined with money to save and to not just break even and be paycheck to paycheck. But I keep wondering, like, how the hell do people do it? With how expensive everything is, especially if you start to get a house or rent somewhere decently or have a freaking family. How the hell do people do it and not be in debt out their ass? It blows my mind because I'm a single person. I'm very disciplined with money. I don't spend a lot. And it's been a diligent effort to stay afloat and save a good amount, much more than people my age have. I don't understand. And that's why it's always been a desire, for me at least, and you guys can say for you too, to want to make it. To earn like $10,000 in a month. Just to get ahead a little bit. Because, I mean, I don't know how the hell else we can do it off of like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in a month. Like, and then if you get that still, you're just grinding your ass off. I always just wanted to make it financially. I don't know about you guys. But I don't know how the hell how people manage. I really don't.
The current world is such a tiny...
Everything's going up apart from salaries. How do you see the next few years panning out?
I'm going to say this now, and I'm someone from a council estate. I don't have a clue how the average person is still surviving. I don't get it. Like 25, 30 grand a year in the current world is such a tiny amount of money. It's man, it's about to be worse than ever before. It's going to be have-nots and have-yachts. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
But it's going to become worse and worse. As inflation gets out of control, as the price of assets soar, the rich are going to become richer and the poor are going to become poorer. I don't think that most people, I'm going to correct myself, I know that most people don't understand economics as a whole. They don't understand money as a whole, because if the people watching this, if they all understood how all this shit worked, there'd be a revolution tomorrow. So they don't understand any of it. But it's very difficult for a government to even pretend to give a shit about the average person to me, because I understand how all this works. So the government comes along and decides to give out free money. The average person in the middle or at the bottom goes, wait, free money, government cares about the poor person.
Yo, quickly, Brazo, I think I remember who you are. Hold on, let's see. Go to channel. Let's see. Hold on. I think I remember you. Was it you that left a comment on my channel a long time ago? Hold on. I'm looking at your channel real quick. Did you do those videos on... Yes, I believe it was you, Brazo. I don't know if you're still there. But you commented on my channel You commented on my channel like 5 months ago, like letting me know that what it would really take to earn a lot of money on YouTube, because I stated that when I got monetized, like in this summer, that, you know, you were trying to give me a heads up, like it's a lot harder than you think, and you were right. But I don't know if you remember that, you probably don't, but what I said in that video has finally happened. Even though it's taken a lot of ups and downs, and I just want to say thank you for giving me the heads up, but also that I remember your comment telling me like, bro, you don't understand how hard it is, like you need to slow down. Well, I did it. I'll just tell you that I did it. And I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, we're going to move on. But thank you for the heads up, and what I talked about there where you were responding, I made it happen.
Because I understand how all this works. So the government comes along and decides to give out free money. The average person in the middle or at the bottom goes, wait, free money, government cares about the poor person. No, they don't. Let's keep it very simple. Let's say they gave every person in the UK £1,000. They're either going to save that money, or they're going to spend that money, or they're going to, let's say, invest that money. If they spend that money, which is what 90% of them would do, it goes to corporations, making the corporations filthy rich. The stock price of Amazon during COVID went to the moon, because everyone's sitting at home bored, just buying stuff, right? So there's less corporations than there are people. So let's say you give everyone in the UK £1,000. A lot of that money goes to one guy, Jeff Bezos. The rich get richer, just like before. Let's say they invest it. Well, they're going to invest it in what? The stock market? Well, that increases the share price of companies. Who owns companies? Rich people. Let's say somehow 200 of these people are best friends and they're never going to argue, and they get together and they get £200,000 and they buy a house, for example. That's still going to raise the price of housing on that street. The house owners, the homeowners are going to get richer. The people who already own things, the asset owners are always going to get richer. No matter what you do, the people who are poor are always going to get poorer, and the asset owners are always going to get richer.
Yeah.
And it's running away now to a point where the chance of buying a home on the average salary is near on impossible. I mean, you know some hacks, you know some things about it, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know how people are surviving on this money. Because I come from a council estate in Luton, that's fine. But now I'm living in a world where I go to, I mean, I can talk a bunch of rich people stuff right here. For me, it's very normal now to jump on a jet from Bucharest, where I live in Romania.
That's wild.
I'll go to Monaco, that's 30, 40 grand. We'll go stay in a hotel, which is 5 grand a night. We'll go out for dinner, 3 or 4 of us, that costs 15, 20 grand. We'll stay, we'll have a business meeting, and I'll jet home. I'll spend 200,000 pounds in a weekend to go to a meeting. and I'm not the only one doing it. There's 30 other guys there doing the same thing. Like, I don't think people who are working normal jobs understand that there are people out here making such ridiculous sums of money. And that would be the hardest thing for me if I ever had to get plugged back into the matrix and work for 30 grand a year. Is not the wage, just knowing how badly I'm being wrecked. Yeah. It would just, I'd be like, knowing how much I'm being screwed would just upset me. But yeah, it's going to get harder and harder. It's not going to get any easier. The government has no power to legislate money into the hands of the poor. They can take more money off the rich, or they can attempt to. We can talk about that in a second, because they really can. But they can attempt to take more money from the rich. But throughout the bureaucracy and the way the machine works and the corruption inside of every government, by the time let's say they take 100 million, let's make it easy numbers, maybe 30 million of it might end up kind of somewhere a little bit. And then we have the same problem we discussed earlier. The poor people just spend it. It goes back to the rich people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way the whole system's set up.
Nick Rosen says, love the input, Sean. Couldn't agree more. Thanks, Nick. 716 Misfit, he's back. Yukido is the type of person who wants men to continue taking benefits and privileges from the government in place of unalienable rights. And Yukido, with that attitude that person had, or she had, or whatever, is just like a super liberal girl I had a fling with. She told me, she was super liberal, had all these takes on things, feminism, blah, blah, blah. But yet she told me, she was like, you know what? I never date liberal guys. Even though, let's say she was pretty sold out on some of these views. She was like, I always seem to date these conservative guys like me. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, I just realized all these liberal guys are pussies. And it's funny, these women that promote these anti-men things, super liberal point of views, they believe them to their heart, but at the same time, they'd never want a man. A lot of them really wouldn't want a man to think like they think, or would want a man to be how they want men to be, because they wouldn't be a real man for them. 716 says, people need to realize that public is synonymous with government, and that is the government's domain. Learn to live in the private instead of the world of fiction. Andrew Tate's son. Oh, we got a little G in here. Says it's a guy. Okay.
The average people come to me and say, what do I do? I'm just the average guy. And my only answer is stop being the average guy. That's my only answer. You can't just be the average guy anymore. The idea from the 1950s that you can just be the normal, average, law-abiding, hard-working citizen and you'll have a good life is gone. Any man out here who goes, I'm just going to work hard, do my bit, and obey the laws, and I'll have a good life. No, you won't. No, you will not. Just doing your job is never going to make you rich.
I believe that.
Because you're just going to be taxed into infinity and you're going to stay broke. So just obeying laws and doing your job now has set you up to be a peon and a slave for eternity. You have to get yourself in a position where you're making enough money that, I'm not saying laws can be broken, but there certainly can be bent. I mean, I think you know this with accountancy and the way that tax laws work. You get to a certain level where it's like, okay, yeah, we can just put that one to the side. We can twist that one around.
Arnold Schwarzenegger says, break the rules, but don't break the law.
Completely, yeah, and that's basically it, right? So you get to a certain level, and that's where it's really interesting, because the average peon, their answer to all this is, we need to tax the rich, because they don't understand how money works, and they don't understand how the world works, and they think that rich people are out here working some kind of job that you can tax. How do you tax a rich guy? How do you tax a rich man? Firstly, let me tell you something about myself and most rich people. We don't own anything. I don't own anything. There may be a trust fund in Ecuador that owns a company in Singapore that might own a yacht that I can borrow, for example. But I don't own shit. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you have all these different jurisdictions around the world. It's extremely complicated. How are you going to tax a rich guy? He has houses here, houses there, company here, company there, all the companies making a loss.
Hold on, what did he just say? Let's go back. Psycho says wrong. Nick Rosen says so true. Psycho says, I'm a fan of you, but what you just said hurt. Well, it's just true observation, so.
That owns a company.
What did Andrew just say?
I'm going to tell you something about myself and most rich people.
Okay.
We don't own anything. I don't own anything. I don't own anything. There may be a trust fund in Ecuador that owns a company in Singapore that might own a yacht that I can borrow.
So what he's saying is he doesn't own his yacht. It's not under Andrew Tate's name. Therefore, it's owned by all these different companies that own different companies that are really his. But therefore, he can put the expense of the yacht, I believe, under the businesses instead of just as a personal expenditure. So then the expense put into that yacht, however much initially and per year, can be taken off of his business taxes, off of his business profit. His business profit's here, you add the expense of the yacht and stuff, it can bring his taxes way the hell down. We're going to listen to that again. Sammy Gaming Channel says yes. 716, own nothing, control everything. That's why he's the GOAT. Ownership equals liability. Primal Gaming, what's up?
They don't understand how money works. They don't understand how the world works. And they think that rich people are out here working some kind of job that you can tax. How do you tax a rich guy? How do you tax a rich man? Firstly, I'm going to tell you something about myself and most rich people. We don't own anything. I don't own anything. I don't own anything. There may be a trust fund in Ecuador that owns a company in Singapore that might own a yacht that I can borrow.
Wow.
For example. But I don't own shit. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you have all these different jurisdictions around the world. It's extremely complicated. How are you going to tax a rich guy? He has houses here, houses there, company here, company there, all the companies making a loss. Does Starbucks pay tax? No, Starbucks supposedly doesn't make money. Supposedly Uber's never made profit. An app on the phone with millions of cars around the world and people working endless hours for them and them getting a cut of it to run an app.
Is that really true that they don't pay taxes? Uber doesn't? Amara Jamal Vlog says, hey, what's up, Amara? What you're saying is great, and I'm a fan now, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Psycho, I was a fan. Sad face. You need to go to college. No, I don't need to go to college. No thanks. Ryan GLZ says, how do you set up these companies? Do you need training? That I do not know. Like, especially in different countries. I know how you can set up I know how you can set up some companies in your country, but like how you set it up in another country, I thought you had to have a place of residency or some way that you're established in a country. I do not know. I'm not at that point yet. I need to find that out though. And I do have one like international business guy I used to work for with videos that I could pick his brain on that more. 716 Misfit says taxes only exist in the public. Taxes are public law. Contract makes the law in the private. Taxes. Contract makes the law in the private. Can you explain that one for me?
Supposedly they never made profit, never paid it.
You don't need to go to college to set it up, Psycho. Psycho, it's not that big a deal. Like, we can disagree on certain things. People seem to have this whole thing like, oh, if you disagree, then, oh man, I'm no longer a fan. I'm no longer your friend. Like, we just disagree on shit. But I'm going to be real about it. 716 says, you study trust law if you want to set up a trust and do your business out of a trust.
An app on the phone with millions of cars around the world and people working endless hours for them and them getting a cut of it to run an app. Supposedly they never made profit, never paid a penny tax. Funny how that works. You can't tax the rich. It's too complicated. You can't tax the rich. It doesn't work. All you're going to do is just drive them into other countries. If England right now today were to announce a huge tax on the rich people would just go, oh, cool, I'll base my company out of Belize.
Right.
2 pieces of paper,
Bam.
Fuck you.
I mean, can I push back a little bit on that point? Is that okay?
Sure.
I mean, you say rich don't own anything. I don't know. I know quite a few billionaires. I don't know any billionaires that don't own stuff. All of my friends who are billionaires own a lot of stuff, myself included. Land, properties, businesses.
And that's an interesting way to look at it. So when I say don't own anything, I mean, I don't want to work on a public podcast here. I guess it depends on your ethos towards business. The problem with owning something is that it can be taken from you. So let's look at it the American way. In America, litigation is a big problem. Everyone gets sued all the time. So you don't want to own anything, because if you get sued, then you're going to have to pay that debt, and you might have to sell your assets to pay that debt.
Not if it's in a company, though. If it's a limited company.
Correct. This is the point. So
Yeah.
people don't own anything themselves.
Okay, so they only feel their company.
It's a limited company owns it.
Yeah,
a trust
yeah,
owns it.
exactly.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at the Panama Papers.
Yeah.
Look at it. And then it gets really complicated. And this is what I'm saying, where the average Joe Schmo at home has no idea how this stuff works.
Yeah.
Because let's look at Nike, for example. Nike doesn't pay any tax. Why does Nike not pay tax? Well, I'll give you a very simple version. They have two companies. One set up in Belize with a 1% tax rate. One set up in Europe. The one set up in Europe sells Nike trainers, pays all the staff, pays the stores, sells all the shoes, makes all the money, boom, makes millions and millions and millions in profit. The one in Belize owns the trademark. So after 100 million, 200 million, whatever it is, comes into the European company. The European company has a debt to Belize to use the trademark of all the profit. Isn't that coincidental?
Yeah, right.
That goes to Belize. Then Belize government comes along and goes, give us 1%. Nothing. Boom, boom, done. Tax paid. It's all a scam. It's all a lie. It's all a scam. The person who get fucked, it's always the same. It's the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
The guy in the middle is going to get wrecked. It makes me laugh when they talk about, we're going to increase taxes, da-da-da. When they talk about increases taxes, they're not trying to chase down the billionaire on his yacht, because they can't.
Exactly.
They're trying to chase down the guy with an address, who can't move, can't leave. He has a mortgage debt, 2 kids and a dog, living somewhere in Sunderland, and he's stuck there. There's a cost-benefit analysis, and there's a risk return on every action that we take as humans. If I was in charge of a tax authority, I'd sit there and go, okay, we have all these millionaires, and they're all on jets, and they're everywhere, and they have 7 passports, and these complicated corporate structures, and this is going to take years to penetrate. We need money now. Who can we get now? Oh, we'll get him. Some dude. Turn up, you owe us money. How much? 50. I don't have 50 grand, I'll pay you 10. Cool, thanks. Because he can't resist it. The guy in the middle can't resist. And this is why I'm saying about having things in your name. When you have things in your name, you're in trouble, because if you say no to that tax bill, what do they take? Your house, your car. They just take your shit. So that's why, I mean, I don't know about your structure, and obviously we can't talk on open.
All right. I was talking about Tate. I'm not talking to you, psycho. Okay. 716 Misfit. You have public law and private law. The government doesn't exist in the private. Tate just announced he's converted to Islam. So happy for him, says Jay. All right.
Your name, you're in trouble, because if you say no to that tax bill, what do they take? Your house, your car. They just take your shit. So that's why, I mean, I don't know about your structure, and obviously we can't talk on an open podcast, but the richest people I know don't own anything. They don't own anything.
Yeah, their companies will.
Well, but it can get even more advanced than that, because companies can then still be litigated, but trusts can't.
Let me ask you a question then. What are you buying? What are you investing in right now? And you don't have to go into details. I know we're on a public podcast, but what sort of stuff are you making a lot of money, clearly? Where are you dumping that besides supercars?
Amara Jamal Vlog says, first time watching your videos. You are doing great, informative content. Thank you, Amara. Only my second live stream, but I have a lot of other clips and videos up. I try to add a little bit of my input where it's not just the subject of the video solely talking, but I add a little bit here and there. But yeah, Jay, first time watching too. Did you guys just see this on like the YouTube homepage or something?
Yeah, supercars are just...
All right, so let's see what Andrew Tate is invested in.
Let me ask you a question then. What are you buying? What are you investing in right now? And you don't have to go into details. I know we're on a public podcast, but what sort of stuff are you making a lot of money, clearly? Where are you dumping that besides supercars?
Yeah, supercars are just... I need to stop. I have 28 supercars now.
28
It's got to a level of ridiculous now where all the car brands just text me, hey, new Lamborghini's coming. What color do you want? I'm like, black. And I just buy. I don't even know what they look like. I just buy them.
But I think it's an important question, because there are going to be people watching this that are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, business owners, making a lot of money, and they're thinking, look, I've got this money. Where do I dump it? Where do I put it?
Yeah, but there's money and there's money, right? So it's different because making $100,000 a week or $100,000 a month is very different than making, let's say, $1 or $2 million a week or $300,000-400,000 a day. It all depends. But yeah, that's the biggest problem. The actual genuine problem with the world now is trying to find a place to put it, especially with inflation as rampant as it is.
Yeah.
Inflation, I think they tell us it's 9 or 10%. If you believe that, you're an absolute idiot. It's much higher than that. British pound's getting wrecked.
Yes,
Pound
it
is
is
getting wrecked.
Oh my God.
So
it's
like
getting
energy
destroyed.
prices are going to the moon. On top of that, the currency's inflating, so we're just printing it because we have to try and fix these problems. And it's difficult. Where do you put it?
And that's
you
my
can
concern.
and you can put it into hard assets, but then hard assets come with a new problem because my personal view is that I wanted to be rich, and then I got rich. And then I realized what I actually wanted was to be free. And they're different things. There's a lot of people who are rich, but they're not free.
Yeah.
They can't say the things I'm saying on a podcast. They can't tell a government to get fucked like I can. If I were to just buy a bunch of houses in England and continue talking like I'm talking on a long enough time scale, they're going to take them. This is the thing. You don't own houses. That's the reason I'm not a big real estate guy. People say, oh, I own my house. Oh, you own it. Let's talk about your owning that house. Go out and park somewhere. Get a parking ticket. Don't pay it. Okay, so they add more money. Don't pay it again. Give you a court date. Don't go. They send a bailiff. Don't pay him. On a long enough time scale, may take a year, may take 2, may take 3, sooner or later, they're going to come with a big enough piece of paper and a big enough bailiff, and they're going to take your fucking house. They're going to say, you owe us this money. This is your asset. Give us your asset. You don't own it if they can take it from you anytime they want. And that's what they'll do. A judge will get a new piece of paper, stamp a new piece of paper, and they'll take it. Because the governments have a monopoly on violence. And that's the true underpinning of the world. The true underpinning of the world is violence. We live in a world now, which is a society which is based on violence from the absolute ground up. And not many people look at that and understand that. And the government are the only people who are allowed to be violent. And that's why they can get away with whatever they want. But everything is violence. There's a threat of violence within everything. The reason a police officer can give you a fine and you don't tell him to piss off is because you don't want him to be violent with you. That's it. He always has that in his back pocket. They've always got violence in their back pocket. That's what the government has. So to sit and go, I trust the government, I'm going to buy this nice big house, I just think that's to a degree. Yeah, you can make money. And yeah, everything's fine as long as you follow the rules. I'm not saying it's not. But in my situation, in my worldview, it's like I don't like having someone having that kind of control over me. So to answer your question, sorry, because I'm trying to be a professional. So real estate's difficult. The currency markets are trash. Stock market's about to go down to fucking zero. It's hard. Like, it is difficult to sit there with hundreds of millions of dollars and go, what do I do with it? Where does it go? It's hard. And I found some solutions, which I can't say on the podcast, but it's difficult.
I mean, I'm going to have to come back to the real estate thing in a second.
Sure.
Because, of course, I want to defend real estate.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to some of these chats real quick. Margot Andrew says, bruv, what business ideas do you have for Colorado? I have no idea. You guys are discussing private law. Psycho says, how does private law work? Jay says, it showed up on my YouTube when I was browsing because I watch everything Tate. Amara Jamal Vlog says, yes, it came up on YouTube recommendation. That's awesome. It was a simple title and thumbnail, too. 716 Misfit says, Google public law versus private law. I cannot explain it in a chat room. That's so true. That's probably detailed. Jeremiah McDonald says, hi. What's up, Jeremiah? Take Care is a classic. That's a great album. Says, he really converted to Islam. They really going to hate on him now. He really did. I was actually relieved because I watched the controlled OP work hard to rein him in. They'll be fizzing. Faye said, did he really convert to Islam? Apparently, guys, I haven't confirmed that, but that's just what people are saying. All right, here we go.
Does it go? It's hard. And I found some solutions.
And just so you know, Samuel Leeds is a big real estate guy. He has property trainings. He's a big YouTuber. Actually, I can scroll down real quick. Yeah, it's 370,000 subscribers. I don't know how he landed this interview with Andrew, but he wants to definitely debate Andrew on his real estate take because he's a big real estate guy. This guy on the right.
Dollars and go, what do I do with it? Where does it go? It's hard. And I found some solutions, which I can't say on the podcast, but it's difficult.
I mean, I'm going to have to come back to the real estate thing in a second. Because of course, I want to defend real estate.
Absolutely.
So What are you buying, bro?
what the
Just
fuck
a
are you
hint.
buying?
I know you can't go into
28
detail,
supercars.
but like, is it forex? Is it crypto? Is it business?
Yeah, you have
What's
to you
happening?
have to diversify. You diversify, and then you look for emerging markets.
Right.